everybody, so this is what that I might be cutting short, and guys, basically, I've seen other YouTubers do, different, brother sister swaps for Deku, like what if Deku was Denki's brother, or what if Deku was, a Todoroki. I already did that, what if Deku was a Todoroki, but I wanted to do this, what if Deku was Minetta's brother. Now, guys, I was originally going to do what if Deku was Tokiyami's brother, but I might still do that, guys, if you want me to do that. If you want to see what if Deku was Tokiyami's brother. Now, this is what Deku was Minetta's brother, part 1. Let's get into it. Now, Deku was basically born into Minetta's family. Now, Inko is related to Deku still by being Deku's aunt. But Inko isn't really, important in the story yet. Pretty much Deku's born about a year on the same day is born on Minetta's birthday, Minetta's second birthday. So yeah, his second birthday, like technically his first birthday, because his first birthday was being born, but I don't think you can count that as a birthday. But yeah, Deku basically is born the same year, the same year, and the same year as Mineta. So Minetta's mom gets pregnant about think 10 months after Mineta is born. So Deku and Mineta are technically very, related. Mineta is older, but not, super older, like a couple of months older than Deku, but yeah. So Deku isn't the same size as Mineta. Deku isn't short. Deku's about the same height as Bakugo, at least. No, not actually scratch that. Deku is the same height that he was in canon. Deku is born with a hair-related quirk like Mineta. Deku's quirk, I was looking at Deku's hair, and I think I found out what type of quirk I wanted to give Deku that related to his hair. Deku's quirk is called Spike. Now, Deku can pull out strings of his hair, and then when he pulls them out, they grow into spikes like the size of a broomstick that are super sharpened. So these spikes are super sharpened, and also they're like green wood spikes that Deku pulls out of the scalp of his head. Like they start off with a pinch of your hair, but when Deku pulls it out fully, it grows into in a matter of seconds, it grows into a green spike that can paralyze somebody with one cut. So if somebody touches them, they don't get paralyzed, but if Deku injects it into their bloodstream, they get paralyzed. So, or if somebody injects Deku's paralyzing venom in his spikes. Now Deku has normal looking hair because Deku's quirk is a lot more complicated. Deku's limitations are sort of like Minetta's. If Deku pulls out too many spikes, he starts to lose hair, and he has to, wait about 2 days for his hair to regrow or his hair to, regenerate new spikes so Deku can be back and ready in, position. Deku's limit of how many spikes he can pull out is about 500. But after that, he starts having a wicked hair loss problem. He also gets a huge headache, and Deku starts, being very woozy and wobbly. Now, Deku basically isn't, a pervert like Mineta. He does brush off of Deku sometimes, but Deku, isn't like a pervert like Mineta. So pretty much, Deku and Mineta go to the same school, blah blah blah. But Mineta and Deku go to Bakugo's school. They're at Bakugo. They don't get bullied by Bakugo because Deku has a pretty, strong quirk nonetheless. He has an okay quirk. And Deku can also use the spikes that he makes for, bow staffs or weapons. And Deku can also make spikes as long or as short as a baton or, a polo stick. But yeah, Deku can make super long spikes or super short spikes like a Q-tip or to like a baton type of level. And also Deku's spikes are always at the tip super sharp, like a porcupine's spikes. So yeah, Deku also can shoot out spikes from his scalp without touching them if Deku's scared, kind of like a porcupine. So people call him at school called him Porcupine or Greenie. So pretty much Deku was sort of bullied, but not bullied to a point, to be cruel or mean. They just teased Deku. And Deku was, a little bit more, chill and calmer than in original canon. He wasn't, he had the same personality as Mineta, but he wasn't, a pervert. He was, normal. He was very smart like Mineta as well. Sorry for the pause. So guys, I'm sorry for the noise in the background. My mom's watching Survivor. But yeah, let's get into it. So Deku basically, whatchamacallit, has a pretty normal personality. He isn't quirky like he was originally in canon, but Deku, is as focused and set on his mind of being a hero like canon Deku, but Deku isn't super flustered, and Deku does take charge when he needs it. So Deku is also sort of kind of a ladies' man. Deku has had, one or two girlfriends, but those girlfriends has all, moved or dumped Deku. So Deku, it's not because of Deku's not a bad boyfriend. It's just, they don't want to date Deku because of his brother. So yeah, and this is going to be some commentation like how Loki and Thor fight between Mineta and Deku. But yeah, let's get into that later. So Deku Mineta, pretty much after the last day of school, pretty much Bakugo does almost the same speech, and they say that Bakugo, Mineta, and Deku signed up for UA. Bakugo looks at Deku and Mineta and says, "These weirdos, really, this grape-head idiot." Mineta says, I'm the smartest kid in the class. I'm the smartest kid in the school. What are you talking about?" Bakugo says, "Whatever, chump. And you have a sort of more powerful quirk than your little brother here." And Mineta says, "No, I'm his bigger brother. I'm his big brother." Pretty much, Bakugo says, "Doesn't look like it." And Deku gets up from his chair and pulls out a spike from his head and says, "What you want to do?" And this spike was about the same width of the same height as a pocket knife, and Deku was about to, cut Bakugo with this. Bakugo looked at Deku and had a little explosion in Bakugo hand and said, "What are you gonna do, kid?" And Deku starts growing the spike in his hand about to 6 feet tall, and about to cut Bakugo. But the teacher steps in and says, "Stop." They go to the principal's office. They both get told to stay. They'll lay off, and they're not gonna get suspended because this is technically the last day of school until before the 10-month training arc. So Deku walks off, and Deku's trying to find a training place with his brother. Mineta's saying maybe we can just go to Digio Beach. Deku says that's a great idea, and they go to Digio Beach. They get there, and they see all this trash. They say maybe we're gonna train on our physical body. Mineta says yeah, sure. Now Mineta just trains in his agility, not his strength, not to a point to make a difference. Mineta is about the same strength as he was in canon, just a little bit stronger, but not too much to change the story drastically. Mineta is more, more athletic now because Deku did train him. Did train both of them in agility and know how to dodge backflips and front flips and somersaults, stuff like that, parkour shit. So Deku was very and Deku also trained in combat with Mineta. Now they did know some combat to a point. Mineta doesn't put that much effort in his combat training. Mineta just used his quirk in a way of overwhelming his opponents, like his grapefruit attack. Now Deku had a same tactic like Mineta as well. Deku spikes. Deku would put his hands in his, dig him into his scalp and just grab a chunk of hair in both hands and throw him in the air, making all these spikes appear, and Deku would pretty much just, grow them at a random height, like make them super long or make them ridiculously short or make them, at the same height as a sword. But yeah, did, do the same tactic like Minetta's. Now, Deku's spikes are really naturally sharp, so Deku can throw them into walls or, items, and they can, get stuck into a wall if Deku throws them hard enough. Now, Deku doesn't have any physical or, um, mental enhancements with his quirk. Deku is immune to his own, poison and venom. But yeah, Deku trains with his brother. His brother does get a little bit, more. Mineta does have more combat training now because Deku and Mineta did sign up for karate classes or, combat classes over the 10-month training arc. Now they know about enough combat training to a point of basically whatchamacallit, yellow belt. Pretty much Deku is a yellow belt. Mineta is about maybe a green belt at this point. Now Deku, I don't know if a green belt's higher than a yellow belt. Just go in the comments, guys, and ask me. And tell me, correct me, guys, if a yellow belt is higher than a green belt. So Deku pretty much gets and up, and they go to the entrance exam after the 10 months of training. Now, Deku has a lot more, physical. Deku has the same body that he had during the 10-month arc training with All Might training him, because Deku did most of the heavy lifting of the trash. Mineta did, help making bouncy balls on, the sand, making them roll or, bounce off. So, um, Deku pretty much just walks off, and Deku can actually secrete the same stuff that Mineta makes when he wants to not stick to his own balls. So Deku can secrete that same stuff that Mineta makes for his sticky balls on his head. So Deku can, use Deku's sweat is a natural, suppressant for Mineta's balls. So Deku can, um, deactivate Mineta's quirk, or the effects of his quirk, not his quirk, but like the sticky part of his quirk when he, if Mineta ever tried to fight Deku. Now, Deku would obviously beat his brother's ass, because Deku is taller and more muscular and more, physically fit than Mineta. But Deku's pretty much just better than Mineta in general. But Deku does, still love his brother. So Deku basically goes to the entrance exam with Mineta. They go on and they get started. Now, Deku does bump into Ochaku, and Mineta says, after Deku talks to, Ochaku, Mineta says, "Oh, that girl was totally hitting on you, little bro." Deku says, "Yeah, whatever." And pretty much they walk off. So they walk off, and they see that, they're near, the waiting area where President Mike is explaining the whole entire practical exam. They get ready, they get started, and Deku doesn't go over to Ochaku. Mineta does, but he does get stopped by Ida. Deku grabs Ida's arm and says, "Get the hell out of my brother." And the second after Deku says that, the beep goes off and they're told to go off. So Deku in that instance just, ditches Ida, and Mineta also does the same. Mineta just using his same tactic that he always does, just throwing balls and balls left and right, capturing or, um, debilitating the robots, taking them out and sticking them to wall or the floor. Now, Deku is basically using his spikes to impale the robots. Now, I didn't mention this, but Deku's spikes are indestructible. Like, they're indestructible, they can't be snapped, broken, or even bent. Deku's spikes are indestructible. Deku himself can break his spikes if he needs to, because the same sweat that he secretes the, all the sticky parts or the sticky attributes of Mineta's balls, he can use on his spikes to make them lose their density and make Deku able to break them easily, like, a wooden stick. So Deku is the only one that can, physically break his spikes. So yeah, for anybody else, it's gonna be really hard to break Deku's spikes. Like, they have this consistency to anybody else that tried to break Deku's spikes, they had the consistency or the hardness of steel. So yeah, they're pretty sharp and they're pretty deadly. Now, Deku basically it starts impaling robots, something like cutting off their heads, starts spiking them towards walls, and spiking them, nailing them down. Deku eventually gets to the Serapon robot about to run off, but he bumps into his brother because his brother, was running past Deku. Deku says, "Get out of here." After Deku heard, the girl screaming before he tells his brother to get out of here. Deku runs over there, uses one of his spikes to pry. Sorry guys, to pry the whatchamacallit, to pry the rebel off of Ochaku. Deku grabs Ochaku, sprints off, and gets her to Recovery Girl, running back into the field, impaling some more robots, getting more points. Eventually, ending the match, and they get sent back home. Deku goes back home, and pretty much they wait for the results, and Mineta and Deku get into UA. They're excited, and pretty much Mineta's mom and dad are going like really cool, blah 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 blah. That's really awesome. Now after that whole entire fiasco, they go to UA the next day, and they get there. They walk in class one day, and Mineta's trolling saying all these hot wicked babes. And Deku's saying yeah whatever, and pretty much sat next to Momo and behind Mineta, and Deku is sitting on his left side is Momo, but his right side is his brother, and his behind him is Mineta, and in front of him is Ochaku. So yeah, guys, you already know shipping time, but we'll just past that. So Deku pretty much just tells Mineta, stop being a little pervert and just calm down and be a little bit more chill. Deku sits down and pretty much walking around and introduced himself to people. He gets to a certain boy with a certain girl with white hair and red hair on different sides. Now yeah, I'm doing it, guys. I'm female swapping Todoroki, guys. Yeah, guys, I'm doing it. Now, if you guys don't want me to ship Deku with female Todoroki, I could probably just do a sort of a harem type of situation and ship two people together. But yeah, guys, my next what if that I'm gonna be making, my new what if I'm gonna be making, I am gonna only be doing one ship. So yeah, guys. But yeah, let's get ready. So Deku pretty much starts introducing himself to her, and she says, "Yeah, whatever," and just smugs Deku off. Deku's a little bit hurt, but Ozawa walks in class and explains to the class they're doing quirk assessments and blah blah blah, and they get off their lazy asses and walk outside with me. So they go outside, and Bakugo's told to throw the ball first. Bakugo throws the ball, getting the same score that he got originally, and Deku is told to throw the ball a couple turns after. Deku grabs the ball, throws it in the air, picks out one of his spikes, and uses it as a bat to swing the swing the ball away, getting about the same score as Bakugo, but like shortening down to a reasonable amount, because Deku's spikes are exorbitant proof, so they do give off a little bit of a kick if Deku uses them as some sort of bat or pole hitting tool. So Deku got a pretty, decent score, not enough to fail the ball throwing thing. So we get to the whatchamacallit, the I think it would be the sandpit jump. Deku uses his spike as one of those Olympic stick jumps or something, those polo jumps. Whatever, he uses the stick to propel himself up into. He uses one of his spikes to propel himself up into the air over the sandpit. So for the race, Deku gets a decent score, not anything at an average for somebody that's quirkless in speed or physical attributes. So for the pretty much whatchamacallit, for the what was it? Oh yeah, guys. For the grip test strength, Deku gets a decent score, and Deku is about 3 times higher than Mineta. Mineta and Deku kind of sort of being kind of scared, and Deku's actually kind of scared because he doesn't want his brother to get expelled, and he's gonna be here alone, and his brother's gonna have to go to a different school. So pretty much, as Alex said, she was joking around, and he was just, to tell people to do their best. Deku was, relieved, because I didn't mention this later, but Azawa did, explain about the whole tire. If you're last place, you get expelled, all that jazz. So Deku pretty much is relieved that his brother isn't, getting expelled, and pretty much they get handed their syllabus and then get told to go back home. Deku walks back home with his brother, get back home. Nothing really happens, but we're gonna do that later in part 2. So guys, see you later, and also guys, it's gonna be a little bit more, juicy in, relationship status, pretty much kind of like Riverdale in a sort of way, because Deku was gonna have, a little bit of, a kind of, a brother-related, setback with Mineta. But yeah, guys, it is gonna be super big, cliffhangers and twists and turns in this way, because I want to just make it, more emotional than, action packed. But yeah, see you guys later. Bye. Have a blessed day, and deuces.